Good day, November Charlie 4 X-ray Lima NC4XL, North Carolina for extreme lovers, and I'm not. Just the darling old man. Welcome to all our new hunters wondering about POTA. What is Parks on the Air? This video is designed just to answer some basic questions. And if you're a regular of mine on YouTube and you feel that you have some friends that might be interested in Parks on the Air after viewing this, feel free to share it with them. One of the things with Parks on the Air growing so fast that there's always going to be questions. But what happens is many of us old timers, that's the people who do a lot of activating or hunting, we sometimes don't mean to be thin on patience, but forget that we at one time were new too. And I'm trying to create this periodically to help answer some of those crazy questions. So I'll address it appropriately. I'm not the only one that feels this way. There's many of us YouTubers that have put on some nice videos about different activations, different styles. Feel free to search on my page. You don't have to like, you don't have to subscribe. It's just here for information to further you in your hobby, if you so choose, to get addicted to Parks on the Air. So this will probably be about a 20-minute video, I'm guessing. And I'll try to answer some of the repeat questions. Main thing, if you're on Facebook and you see people asking questions, you can search. If you have a similar question or you want to look back for an answer, go up on the top of your Facebook page when you're on the Parks on the Air page, and you should be able to get into the search field and click whatever your question or keywords are. And generally it'll bring up some of the past posts that may answer some of your questions. But if you're new to Parks on the Air, you probably have heard a lot of people preach FAQ, FAQ. Well, frequently asked questions saves a lot of time. And some of us, we become a little old rusty around the edges, and when we give an answer, it sounds a little rough, but it's not really intentionally being done. There is no best radio. There is no best antenna, okay? It's what you can afford, what you have. Start with there. And as you experience the hunting phase, that's going from frequency to frequency and learning how to use the spotting page and making sure that you clicked on it so that once you've respotted them and you got it set so you don't see them again unless they're in a new park, or if you want to set it in orders by time or by frequency or by mode. See, there's so much, and you're not going to learn it overnight. Okay? Here's some basic questions. You have a park near you. It's run by the city or the county. It's not a POTA park. The parks are added by POTA have a criteria that needs to be met first. If you have a park and you feel that it might qualify, that's where you notify your area coordinator. You're in 4-land, you get a hold of KN4XP. If you're in 5-land, you get a hold of that mapping coordinator. Wherever your area you're in, you get a hold of the mapping coordinator, send them the information, and then wait. Very simple. Because you send it in doesn't mean it's going to happen. Okay? But it's the process. And I'm guessing they probably have added 700-800 parks in the last 3 or 4 weeks after a freeze of 2 years, just about. So it takes time. Second thing, if you're a hunter, You do not upload a log 1 at all, period. You keep your own log at your resident, whatever program you want. That's fine. That's yours. You do whatever you want there. I paper log and I put it on N3FJP. That's a program I use. But as a hunter, you are not required to log anything if you don't want because you're not uploading it. Don't be lazy, keep logs because you may want to go back and look someday. I don't know. That's up to you. As an activator, let's rephrase everything we said. Every contact that you make, you're keeping a log on, whether it be hammers, N3FJP, N1MM, I think is another one. There's several different programs out there. Whatever you use, it's up to you. There's no best. I don't like certain ones. I won't use them, but I'm not going to degrade them, okay? The thing that we have to remember is you're the activator, your ADIP helps people make their achievements. And all these new hunters that are coming around haven't figured out how to go to the awards page and start searching it. That's a great place to spend 5, 10, 20 minutes, half hour just playing around with it and seeking information and experimenting. It's hard to give a distinctive answer to how to do each and everything with all the questions that are coming up. A lot of times, if you read the FAQ, it'll give you a guideline, but you actually just got to go play. I'm an activator and I'm a pretty aggressive one. I like the paper achievement. There's no contest hunters, there's no contest activators except within one's self, period. I'm not going to get something from making X number of contacts in the shortest amount of time. I'm not in a race. When us activators that run hot or heavy or whatever, we stay busy, but 90% of us take time too. As a hunter, I want you to understand something. Every activator is different. Treat them different. Expect them to treat you and act different and operate different than the last person you worked, because none of us are the same. My ultimate goal is not what yours are as a hunter or yours are as an activator. There's activators that may wish to go 15, 20 contacts, and that's all they want to do. Hunters, don't get mad. Hopefully you got in their log, because the activators give the hunters something to chase. As an activator, I cherish every hunter's contact. Now, as an activator, let's see if we can help you here. It's contest time, and you got people all over the place. And do you have to follow their format? If there's a contest on and you don't want to spot because you know you're going to have a problem maybe finding a frequency, just go work them, log them. Every contact is fine. Every contact you make as an activator, they don't need to know your park. 90% of them could care less because they're in a contest. Well, you're not. You're just making contacts. You're testing your wire. You're testing your battery power. You're testing your radio. You're testing 5 watts. You're testing 20 watts. See, your presentation on amateur radio is totally different than theirs, but there's nothing saying you can't work them. So go work them. I'll run a special event. I'll run it from a park, but I'll run it under the special event call. And as an operator, I'll still get credit for it, for that park. But I don't necessarily spot it on a POTA spotting page. I know I can't spot it, but if somebody else does, I can't stop them from doing that. But for me, I have to follow the guidelines. And guess what? Guidelines are there for a reason, folks. We may not always agree to them, but they're there for a reason. And with Parks on the Air, sometimes even me out there, I might get a little thin because if you have a spotting page there, follow it. You don't have to ask me 5 times on 5 different bands what parks I'm in because you worked me on 5 bands. And that's going out a little bit on a limb, but it seems that way sometimes when we have, and if you're new to Parks on the Air, a pile up, that means where you got 25 people keying up all at once and we're expected to um, answer them accordingly. Well, I'm a different type of an activator. If you haven't learned it yet, I take a list. I'll spread them out. I'll work one at a time too when the time is right, but not necessarily. I work a list, I take partials, I come back, I fill in the blanks, and I'll stay 2, 3, 4, 5 hours. But I'll get for me, myself, and I, because I'm not in a race with anybody. I'm not going to get my logs up right away and make everybody happy, happy. No, I'll get it up the next day. But as an activator for what I do at my age, when I go out, I'm going to make one run. It's going to be 4 or 5 hours, and after that, I'm done. I got to go home, go to work, and say yes, dear, and all that kind of stuff. Parks added, you can suggest them. Your equipment, if you go out, must be inside the park. If the park has a parking area, you're inside the park. You've met the requirement. If you're an activator, how do I log somebody's in 2 parks? You make 2 entries. The simplest way to make it, stop beating yourself up, make 2 entries. That's simple. You can do it. If I do it on paper, I'll work you in 5 different parks. That's fine. You got 5 parks. I write down all 5 park numbers and draw a line down and I continue on. When I log it in my log, I will log it as an individual contact at each park. I don't use hammers. I don't use N1MM, and I don't know how they do it, nor do I care. I use N3FJP and it works fine for me, so that's the reason I do that. When a person is out activating for the first few times, we hunters need to shut up and listen to them because they're telling us how they're going to operate, how we can get into their pileups. It's not necessarily kicking the amplifier on and being first. It's the courteousness of how to approach that party. If they're taking calls at the end of a pileup, then guess where you would go? If they're taking partials at the front of the pileup, then you'll learn that. So as a hunter, there's a lot there to learn. Everything's in UTC time. Everything's in UTC time. Keep that in mind. I'll share one quick story. Between 1994 and 2020, I got fed up with amateur radio because of the clicks, because of the contest. Everybody became a rude SOB. They didn't care whose feelings they hurt or how they did it. They become unprofessional fools chasing a certificate on the wall. And I left it. And one of our club representatives, who is now our president, coming up January 1st, was mentioning POTA at the club meeting. And another one of the guys that I run with for 20 plus years, almost 25 years. We run counties together. We decided to dabble, play around, started out hunting. And once you start out hunting, check your awards page every day because your achievements come from the activators' uploads. And that's when you'll start seeing different achievements. Real quick on the awards, you may get one type of an award that's repeatedly upgrades when you reach different levels, but the date never changes on it. So you need to keep an eye on it. If you're part of my McAfee program that I'm offering, that's a personal thing. That's not POTA. That's me giving back to the POTA contacts. Okay, I track from 50 to 499, and then I track from 500 to 1,000 to 1,500 contacts with me, and I have a chip that I send out from 500 up, shipping free. If somebody wants the 50 to 499, if they send me a $5 bill, I'll send them the tracking information, visual to their email. Please be good in QRZ or in Messenger, and showing you that I'm not making any money. I'm using your money to get that if you want. Amateur radio is a fun hobby. And when we take fun out of this hobby and become rude and obnoxious and things of this nature that happened in the 11-meter days years ago, and there's still some sad hams that are on the air today, then it's time to get away. We welcome you and you and you to a fantastic group of some of the finest amateur radio operators you're going to meet. I have several acquaintances and many, many friends that have grown from those. May God bless. I hope that this was worth your time. I hope that we have another day and we can share some more. 73's November. Charlie 4 X-Ray Lima Dom, the darling old man. I'm not. I'm from North Carolina, and you'll see two coffee cups and you'll know that it was me. 73's.